Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Come Deliverance. As you can see, we are still in the monastery, and if you have not watched the last episode, you probably should watch that so you know what's going on. Actually, like I say every episode, good to watch all the way back to episode 1 so you'll know what's going on. So basically, to sum it up a little bit, we are now a monk, and what we have done is we have came here under the alias of another man, and we have to find a certain person and either kill him or return him to Radzig to get the trust of some other people that we're trying to... So these people basically are hiring mercenaries to fight, we think. And Sir Radzig wants us to find out why. And the only way to find out why is to do what they say and gain their trust, which is why we're here. So, basically, we've got one person we've already talked to, and I think, I can't remember his name right offhand. We've got 3 other people we need to talk to, and we've got to figure out which one of these people is the one that is the guy that we need to kill and or turn in. So that's kind of, I know it's kind of confusing, and like I said, you can watch the last episode. That's the best way to figure out what's going on. We've got to sleep. I think it's like late at night, obviously. So we probably need to sleep and figure out all this stuff in the morning. So let's go ahead and go to bed real fast. And I will see you guys whenever the sun comes up. Now we may end up being woke up at like 3:30 or 4 in the morning. Because I do remember that they said they wake up around 3 or 4 in the morning to do like morning prayer. It's going to be interesting to see if that's actually put into the game. Does not look like it. Yeah, it does not look like it. So I'm not sure why it didn't automatically wake us up. Maybe we may miss prayer. Maybe we have to wake up on our own. I don't know. Ah, yes, we're neglecting our daily schedule. Okay, so everybody else is up. Go to the church for prayer and mass. Eat with the others. Okay, we better hurry up because we're late. We're late for a very important date. And I do not know how to get out of here. Ah.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
Oh, yes, praise be. I need to talk to you, Novus Siskin. Well, first let's go down here and do mass. Gosh, I can't believe I'm late. I should have known. I should have just, how the heck do I get down from here? This way, maybe? Ah. Easy, easy, easy. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. I'm trying to find my daily schedule. I don't know where to go. I guess I probably should have followed Siskin. Okay, he's going this way. Ah, here we go. Good.
The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily matters.
Guess we just sit where we want.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading.
There we
Brother?
go. Yes?
Where were you during Mass? Don't
I
tell me you
overslept,
didn't know
I'm
that Holy
sorry.
Mass is the foundation on which your life here is built.
Apologies.
I had other affairs that needed to
Oh,
be attended
jeez.
to immediately. It will never happen again.
Really? I'll pretend nothing happened. But this is the last time, brother.
I'm Gregor and I'm new here.
I know. I saw you in the church during the ceremony. I have a feeling we'll be meeting again soon. And often. You see, I'm a cicada.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything is the way it should be.
And when it's not the way it should be?
Then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
Now, that depends on what that correction is. Are you going to whip me? No, I will not require corruption, I hope. About the election of the abbot.
About you in the election. Will you tell me more about it?
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something about Nevlis.
Tell me something about Nevlas.
Nevertheless is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me. Enough. I don't even want to hear his name again.
Okay, what's going on in the monastery?
I'd like to know what's going on here.
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities as we, who have spent much of our lives here. And what of it? Privilege needs to be earned. Nevertheless is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs. All he cares about are benefits for himself and his cronies.
Thanks for answering.
Thank you for answering.
I'd like to ask you something.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Oh, that's going to same questions. Oh, well, maybe not. Jeez. Who's in charge here?
Who's in charge of things around here?
Oh, Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always travelling on. On top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will bless him with many more years of life.
And what
Perhaps.
happens when the old abbot dies?
Well, then we elect a new one.
Tell me something about life here.
Tell me something about life here.
Prayer, work, obedience. That just about sums it up.
I'm interested in the rule of Saint Benedict.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, St. Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world, beyond the monastery walls, is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, the grass is just as green. Perhaps the ruler's changed, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged throughout the ages.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
Well, it was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time. But then the order was restored and the brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away, and their books burned.
Nice. What does each of the monks here do?
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior, the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the cicatas. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
Can you tell me about the novices here?
What can you tell me about the novices here?
And what can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and to live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yorick is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager, perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk. Antonius is hard-working and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Can you leave the monastery?
Can you leave the monastery?
Where would you go? You've everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
So I'm in prison, basically. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of talking in the next few episodes because we've got to learn a lot about a lot of people, so we are going to eat real fast. And we're going to read a book while we're here as well. Let's go ahead and... Don't put your arm in the food.
Much speaking, you will not escape sin. And in another place, death and life.
Novus Yodic.
For speaking and
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Too late.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order, I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
What do you think about the other novices?
I'm interested in the other novices.
Antonius.
Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
I'm interested in something else, too. I'm looking for a criminal in the monastery. I don't want to delve that information just yet. Tell me something about yourself.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. But I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present, or future that anyone could find interesting.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me here. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out manure.
Who would you elect as abbot?
Who would you vote for as the new abbot if you could?
Why do you care? We don't have the right to vote, so we shouldn't get mixed up in it.
I'm just interested, that's all.
I like John better. But like I've said, it's not our place to get involved. It's enough that Antonius is mixed up in it. Don't you start too.
Do you know what this torn page is?
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
Who'd tear up a book like that? Brother Librarian might know.
I do remember when I found that. I have a few questions.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Yeah, okay. Nothing to
Well,
ask
that's
him.
all. Thank you for your time,
Let's
brother.
go find one of the other novices and talk to him as well.
For speaking and teaching belong to the master.
And then we may need to talk to some of the older guys too. I'm not sure.
For that reason, if anything,
We'll sit here for a minute.
should be asked with all the humility and submission.
Novice Antonius. I think we've already talked to Antonius. Real fast, we can kind of talk to him again.
What would you like?
See if there's any new dialogue, and there is. Tell me about your search for Prius.
I need to make a confession.
I'm no priest.
Oh,
but
no,
tell me
no,
what
no,
you've
no, no,
done.
no, 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 no.
Probably nothing to worry about.
I'm here in the monastery
That's
looking for a
not
thief.
what I needed to
He had a
do.
hand in burning down the Neuhof stud.
You don't
Well,
say.
let's see how it works for
And
us.
who are you to take such an interest?
All that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than expounding the Lord's
It's not important.
That's not important.
to the intelligent among
Why are you telling me this anyway?
but demonstrate
What do you want from me?
I didn't mean to
Perhaps
tell you,
can help me
actually.
find him?
those of harder hearts and
The missing thief? If I knew anything, I'd tell you.
always
But
remember what he is
I suppose it must be one of the novices.
and should
I've only recently heard about the Neuhof incident. And all the other brethren have been here much longer than that.
I know.
no distinction
Aside from me, there are only 4 novices, but still, I don't know which one he could be.
more than another
3?
unless
Please,
one
leave me out of it.
is better in good
And you're right that it could be any one of them. No one knows anything about Luther's.
eyes to the fault
Siskin might be a lot of things, but a monk isn't one of
he
them.
has the authority
And Yodok is a slimy worm.
faults by the roots
It wouldn't surprise me if he was behind that massacre. Actually, the more I think about it, the less I like that Yodok. He's a treacherous rat who'd do anything to get in someone's good books. The thought of Yodok at Neuhof sends chills up my spine.
bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters. He should curb
Maybe you're right.
beginning of the
Maybe you're right.
stripes
It's not a pretty thought.
bodily punishments.
Thanks for
So
your
each
help.
of them's probably
And
gonna
please
accuse
don't say a
another.
word to anyone.
Not corrected with words,
Don't fret, my friend.
and again
Your secrets are locked inside my lips.
son with the rod,
Great.
and you will deliver his soul from
Let's see. What do you think about the other novices?
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices.
readings on the abbot. Therefore,
Yodok.
What about Yodok?
abbot, he ought to govern his
Be on good
disciples
terms
with
with him.
full teaching.
If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he'll make your life hell. He's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate, I imagine he'll want to climb his way up the ladder to at least Sir Cater. He's a man who enjoys ordering others around.
Those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The
That's all,
abbot
thanks.
That's all. Thanks.
always remember what he is and what he is called.
I'm looking to get a hold of some lockpicks now in dialogue.
From him,
Let's go
more
talk
is
to these.
required. Let him make no distinction of persons
Novus
in the
Siskin.
monarchy. Let him not love
My
one
name's
more
Gregor,
than
a
another,
novice.
unless it be one
You can call me
who finds
Siskin.
better in good works.
Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a
And let him
punishment?
not shut his eyes to
Although
the
it's not
faults of
important.
offenders,
Welcome to
but
purgatory.
since he has the
Did you say
authority,
purgatory?
Let him cut out those faults by the
You'll
roots
see soon
as
enough.
soon as they begin
Soon
to
enough.
appear. Remember,
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Will you tell me something about
the
yourself?
well-disposed and those
Look,
who
nothing
understand
against you, but I prefer not to talk about my past.
first and second time. But bold, hard,
Are you hiding something?
obedient,
Are you hiding something?
he should curb at the
Why are you
very
so
beginning
reluctant
of
to
the
tell me
history
anything about
by
yourself?
stripes and
I'm
other
hiding a
causes
lousy
of
past that I'd rather forget.
knowing that it is written,
I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here.
and again,
And also because I really hate the question,
and you will deliver
aren't
his
you the
soul
son
to
of the
death.
famed Sir Smil Flashka
Rule of
Pardubitz?
Saint Benedict,
I was rich and I had everything.
spirit of silence.
But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery.
That I may not sin with
And,
my tongue,
being the
I
youngest,
am to the gods
a
of
lot
my
fell
mouth.
on me.
I was mute
I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it.
Here the
Can you
prophet
imagine?
shows that if the spirit
Me,
of
in a
silence
monastery.
ought to lead us at times
So
to
I took
bring
what coin I could from home with me, so I didn't
much
lose
the
out
more
completely.
ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil works. Therefore, since the spirit of
You didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples, even though it be for good, holy, edifying conversation. For it is written in
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
sin.
No, not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or
Speaking
nothing.
and teaching belong to the master.
If it had come to
The
that after
disciples
my
are
father's
to be
death,
silent
so
and
be
listen.
it. But to get rid of me while he's still alive,
Superior, it should be asked with all the humility
They must have figured out that you robbed them.
inspired by reverence. But as for coarse jests,
They must have
idle
realised you
words
robbed
or
them.
words that move to laughter, these
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them
such
off.
conversation
I can just
not
see my brothers, I mean my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
the rule
And you
of
stashed
Saint
away the
Benedict,
remainder.
readings
Indeed
on
so.
the first degree of humility is obedience without
So there's
this is the
gold
virtue
or
of
silver
those who
somewhere
have
here.
nothing dearer to them
What will you do next?
What's your plan with this treasure?
service, they
To get out of here as soon as I can.
have the glory
I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere, far, far away from here.
That's all.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep it to yourself, especially the part about the coin.
Oh, absolutely I will. Will you tell me something about yourself?
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk about my past.
Okay, right.
Very well. I won't ask.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm still curious about this stash of yours.
I'm still curious about this treasure trove of yours.
It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
What book is it?
What kind of a book is it?
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. It's the Necronomicon. Ghosts, demons, and invocations of powers beyond our world. Only it's written in a strange language that I can't really make sense of. All bara this and bara that. Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables, read the words backwards, but nothing. I'm not getting anywhere with it.
Oh, I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada would say about a book like that. Actually, what anyone would say. Sounds quite prohibited.
Prejudice. But you're right, it is prohibited. For no good reason, though. Has knowledge ever done anybody any harm?
That book's not here anymore, by the way. It's not prohibited for nothing.
If it wasn't harmful, it wouldn't be forbidden.
That's a rather limited view of the world. Some write about the saints, others about demons. And an educated person should know both. Pity I can't understand a word it says. And I've been trying for quite a while. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Our brothers' minds are closed to a thirst for knowledge.
Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor.
I'll leave you be.
I'll leave you be. Don't worry, I won't follow you again.
Thank you. And please, Gregor, don't mention it to anyone.
Of course not.
Until the calends of October.
Good lord. How is it you get no penance for missing mass?
How is it that you don't get any penance for missing morning prayers?
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time of the morning.
Or if anyone may perhaps want to read,
What do you think about the other novices?
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices.
let none e'er be said
Antonius.
Tell me about Antonius.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul, he's easy to talk to, and you can always rely on him.
What about Yodok?
I'm interested in Yodok.
What could interest you about him? He's a no-good rat. He'll turn you in for the price of a turnip. I'd bet my life that if he wasn't here, he'd be a human scout, bowing and scraping for a few groschen.
That doesn't sound too
Well,
flattering.
it seems like he might be the guy we're
It
looking
wasn't
for.
meant to. No matter what you do here, watch out for him. He's got his eye on everyone, and he'll rat on you for even the slightest of infractions.
That's all, thanks.
Thanks.
Who would you elect as abbot?
Who would you elect, Abbot, if you could?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow, and he seems honest. But, truth be told, it doesn't matter much to me. A monastery will still be a monastery, no matter who's in charge. If you really want to talk more about it, ask Antonius. He seems to have taken an interest.
Not necessarily with his lips, but simply in his heart. Then even though he fulfills
I'm looking to get a hold of a few out-of-the-ordinary items.
It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
Lockpicks, eh? I won't ask what for. My advice is to try Brother Solarius.
rule of Saint Benedict.
Okay.
Readings on daily manual labor.
And then one more.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul.
Lord have mercy. I actually learn about this guy here, which is not very long. Smil Flashka of Perdibice and Rach something. A Czech nobleman, the nephew of the first Czech Archbishop Ernest of Perdibice. He is known mainly as a writer. He received his bachelor's degree at the university in Prague in 1367. In the 1380s, he was in dispute with Wenceslas IV, trying to prevent Perdibice from falling into the hands of the king as an escheat. Although he lost in 1390, he inherited the Perdibice and Reichenberg estates, and 6 years later he was appointed supreme scribe of the provincial records. From 1403 he held the position of hetman of the Kaslev region and was a member of the League of Lords. He died in fighting against the Katnahora, allies of Wenceslas IV. He wrote allegorical verse, for example the poem New Council, featuring an assembly of animals representing conservative views on how the king should govern. He also penned aphorisms, proverbs, and satire. A street in Perdibice bears his name, and his work is still read by students of Czech literature. And so last but not least, Novus Lucas.
I'm Gregor.
By the way, these are all real
I saw you
people
at the ceremony.
that were in history.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm happiest alone.
Okay, tell me about the other novices.
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
I don't know much, but ask away.
Siskin.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Not a lot. I don't know him. Actually, I don't know much about him at all. Except that he's not a stickler for rules.
From the 4th hour until about the 6th.
Okay, what about Yodok?
Do you know anything about Yodok?
After the 6th hour, having left
I
the table,
don't.
let them rest on their
He
beds,
doesn't like me, and he's on very friendly terms with the circators. That's about it.
read to himself
Okay, what about Antonius.
Tell me about Antonius.
I'd like to, but there's nothing to tell. I've
You don't
never
know much of
spoken to
anything,
him.
do you?
I've never asked about him.
Alright, so we can ask him again. Siskin?
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Not a lot. I don't know him.
Okay, so he's just gonna say the same thing over and over.
Are you joking? Don't you know anyone at all here?
Why should I?
I'd have thought you might want to know who you'll be spending the rest of your life with. I definitely do. In fact, I probably already know more about them than you do.
Don't get upset. I'm sorry I can't tell you more. I just haven't felt like getting to know anyone yet.
Tell me something about yourself.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I
jeez.
can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else matters.
This guy could be him too, he's not telling us a thing. Why won't you tell me anything?
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. I never will be again. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
Who are you pointing at? I'm behind you. Tell him about the Sister Pius. Who would you elect as abbot? He's not gonna know.
If you could, who would you vote for to be the abbot?
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worry? Ask Antonius. He often talks about it, and I'm sure he has an opinion.
So I think we can ask the other guys now about this guy, because we just now met him. So let's see what Novus Siskin says about Lucas.
What troubles you?
Will you tell me something
No.
about yourself?
Look, nothing.
Expounding the Lord's commandments in
Very
words
well.
to the
I won't
intelligent
ask.
among
Thank you.
his disciples, but demonstrating
What do you think about the other
I'd
notes?
be
Here we
interested
go.
to hear what you think of...
hearts and ruder minds.
Lucas.
What can you tell me about Lucas?
Always remember what
It's a
he
tricky
is and what he
situation
is
with
called,
Lucas.
and should know that
No
to
one really knows anything
more
about him.
is committed.
I've tried so
From
many
him,
times to talk to
more
him, but
is
he always
required.
backs
Let
away
him
like a
make
virgin
no
on a wedding
distinction
night.
of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one
That's
Okay.
more than another.
Thanks.
And we're going to go ahead and ask these other two about the two we talked to after
And let him
them
not
as
shut
well.
his
So we need to
eyes
talk
the
to
faults of offenders, but
Antonio
since
or
he has the
Antonius
authority, let him
about
cut
those
out
two guys
those
on
troubles
the other
you?
side.
roots as soon as they begin to appear.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about...
Remembering
I kind of trust this guy for some reason. Siskin?
What can you tell me about Siskin?
That there's no man alive less suitable for the monastic life than him.
You don't know young Lord Capon.
I've heard things. Siskin must have been like him, fighting, drinking, fornicating, but then he ended up in here.
Sounds like a fun life, honestly. Why is he in the monastery?
Why is he in the monastery?
No one knows. Maybe he's hiding from something, or maybe he's being punished.
Do you think he has a secret?
Don't we all? But unlike the others, he absolutely refuses to speak about his life before the monastery.
Thanks, that's all.
That's all I wanted to know about him. Thanks.
What about Lucas?
I'm interested in Lucas.
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats, sleeps, then does it all again the next day. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible. By it, I mean his entire life.
That's all, thanks.
That's all. Thanks.
Now let me ask this one last guy.
More is committed. From him, more is required.
See what
Let
he
him make
says,
no
and then we're going to check our
distinction of
journal.
persons in the monastery.
Novus
Let him not
Yoldik.
love one more than another, unless
What is it,
one
brother?
he finds better in
Well, I need some information again. What do you think of the other
I'm interested
novices?
in the other novices.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
What can you tell me about Siskin?
him cut out those
Oh,
by the roots
he's always got a smile underneath, friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his duties. I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear right away.
bold, hard, proud, and disciplined
You don't think much of him, do you?
Sounds like you don't have much time for him.
of their ill-doing by
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor,
that it is written,
he's hiding something from us.
corrected with words,
In fact,
and again,
now I come to think of it,
your son would
I haven't seen him at morning prayers for a while.
from death.
What about Lucas?
I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide. I'd keep well clear of him if I was you.
Do you have any grounds for suspecting him of something?
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The circuitous who make the rounds despise him, and they never punish anyone without cause.
Okay, so we're not going to ask him about the criminal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go talk to this other guy and tell him that I am looking for a criminal, because I think this guy here and the other guy over there I feel like I can trust. Entrust him with searching for Pius, yes.
There's something I should tell you. Something you won't be happy to hear. I'm here to find someone and, well, to do away with him. But listen, it's not murder. Not when it's a man like him. He's one of the brigands who burned down Neuhof. He doesn't deserve to live.
What's he doing here? And who are you?
They call him Pius because he used to be a priest. When he found out a lot of people were after him, he hid away here. And as you can see, escaped suspicion. They sent me here to find him and bring him to justice. He's one of the novices.
So we have one outlaw and one assassin in our midst. This place is a lot more exciting than I expected. Do you know who it is?
Well, that's just it.
From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever.
I won't tell you anymore. And please don't repeat what I've said.
I won't tell you more. And I'd like you to keep silent about this too.
You're talking about killing in the monastery. I really should report it.
Please don't. But you won't do that, will you?
Would you do that? I have a feeling you wouldn't.
You're right. I'll keep it to myself. I've got problems enough of my own without involving myself in yours. And besides, I mean to be gone from here within a year, so why should I care what happens with the monastery?
Thank you, Sigismund. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Their weakness must be taken into consideration.
we have talked to all 4 novices now and learned what we can about them. We still need to investigate quite a bit, and I've got to figure out how to do that. Think about it for a minute, figure out where to go from here. I'm going to end the episode here because we are right at our 30 minutes. And I know this episode was all talking to people. It's just, this is how investigations work. So you have to bear with me through the next few episodes. I think it's probably going to be like this for a little while. And we're going to try to find the right guy the first time and hopefully not accuse the wrong guy. And we'll continue that in the next episode. So I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please leave a like. And if you'd like to help the channel out, subscribe as well. And I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
Or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself.